release from in the morning.
Welcome, all my friends, once again from Cowboys Magic. I am Lisa, and we are here in beautiful Cabo San Lucas celebrating the world's famous Bisbee tournament. And the beer is Corona. I have here with me my friend Mariana, who we're going to ask a couple questions on the history of the Bisbee. Hi, Mariana. How are you today?
Hi, thank you, Lisa. And you?
Excellent, thank you. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit of the history and the story behind the Bisbee tournament.
Absolutely. The Bisbee starts, it's the biggest tournament of marlin fishing in the world right now. That starts in a very funny way 29 years ago. The guy that founded Mr. John Bisbee with a group of 5 friends. And they just figured that this is the best place in the world to catch black and blue marlin. So he comes with his friends and it starts like a little contest between them. And actually people like it, they back to the States and they're really here. And then they come here, more and more people. They decide to make like a jackpot. Everybody puts some money in the contest and it start with $10,000. This year, 29 years later, the jackpot come up to $5 million, divided in 3 places. From that little group, that 5 people, now it's between 100 and sometimes up to 180 groups from different places like Japan and Russia.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty cool because it starts, of course, with the Mexican crowd. Then we have people like from Colombia, Canada, the States, Japan, Russia, and Denmark.
We become internationally famous here.
Okay, Lisa, so how about if we take a walk and I show you what the Bisbee is more about? We enjoy the party and having a Pacifico life.
Sounds good to me. Let's go.
Okay, let's start.
Behind us is where they do all the weigh-ins for the marlins caught of the day. However, Mariana has a few more things to talk to us about.
Yeah, after the day of fishing, they come with their big fish and wait it there, and they have a screen there that shows you how many pounds. Like yesterday, that was a blue marlin from 375 pounds.
They get that big?
Yeah, well, they can be sometimes over 800 pounds. They're really, really big. But how about if I show you another things after this? You wanna go?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Sounds good.
Good. Welcome to Cowboys Magic. We're here with
Wayne Bisbee.
Bisbee. And this is part of the family of the
Bisbee's Black and Blue Marlin Tournament.
The biggest in the world. Could you imagine?
It's the richest in the world. We never expected it. Nobody ever knew.
I know. I listened that they started like 29 years ago with a very small budget, like $10,000. Is it true?
That's exactly. It was 6 boats, $10,000 prize money, 29 years ago.
Wow. And how about today?
Today, none of us can believe it became what it did. My dad, me, none of us can understand it, but it did, and it's cool.
What do you guys think about that?
I kind of watch him out there while we do what we do, and he looks like, what did I create?
How old you was when was the first tournament?
I was 18 in high school, and I actually worked the business in America, in California, for the first 5 years. I loaded up all the boxes for everybody else to come down here and have fun. When they were down here for the tournament, I was home managing that business.
Wow. Well, tell me when was the year after how many tournaments that was the thing started like to blow out?
It started to blow out in 1990, 1991. You know, the sport fishing world, communication back then between all of us tournaments, we didn't talk a lot about things to each other. And what it turned out was we didn't know that we had become one of the bigger, one of the richer in the world. We had no idea. But once we reached out and started communicating to everybody, we started to find out. So we then said, hey, let's team up and let's trade information and see if we can all grow. And it was about that era in the mid-90s or early 90s that all of these tournaments started communicating, and all of us kind of simultaneously started growing. We just got lucky. We happened to be the ones that grew faster and big. And
you're the biggest tournament in the world. Can you imagine that? That's awesome. And I would like to ask you, how many teams are today? How many countries? And what is the budget this time?
Well, right now we've got 94 teams out there. We've got 13 countries represented. Virtually every state in America, all 50 are represented. Maybe we missed one, but I think we've got all 50 again. And it's right just a shade under $2 million in prize money.
Which one you lost, like West Virginia or something like that?
Who knows? All I know is as long as my Texans do strong, we're okay.
Okay. So tell me about that. How do you think about that when you start and you and your dad started 29 years ago? This is now a huge party. It's a huge celebration. Actually, people book their vacations to come here this time of the year. Not only the people that fish, but the people that comes here. You're like way bigger, like Sammy Hagar's birthday.
It's way beyond the anglers. We've got 800 or 900 anglers here with us. We've got literally 2,000 and 3,000, 4,000 people that call us. They have nothing to do with fishing. They just want to come down and be part of the party. You've seen them out here. I mean, they're out here right now around us. It's become kind of a cool place to come year after year. We all get together. I recognize the people. They recognize all my staff and all of us. And we have a great time for 3 or 4 days here at the weigh station. It's really turned into something beyond just the fishermen.
Do you was scared about the weather in the last days?
This was the first time. We always have weather problems, maybe every second year. For 30 years, there's always every couple of years a weather problem. This was the worst. This one, it was the second biggest hurricane in the history of the Eastern Pacific.
Yeah.
And it just kept coming. And it got to the point where if it had not turned when it did, this whole thing could have been canceled. We've got teams from Russia. We got teams from Japan. I had 40 people from Japan in Los Angeles International Airport while the hurricane's coming saying, what do we do, Wayne? We want to come fish. And I didn't know.
Like, is my flight going to get canceled or something like that?
Exactly. No, it was logistically, this 94 boats, given the situation, thank God we did it. If it wasn't for that hurricane, you'd be looking out here at twice as much. It'd be 200 boats out there, 175 boats out there, and an extra 1,000 people here.
Well, tell me, in 29 years, how big the biggest marlin you get, like the first place?
In 1994, we had a team bring in on Picante a 993-pound blue marlin. And that's the biggest one we've got in our tournament history.
Wow.
The next biggest is the one we caught last year at 870 pounds.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a nice fish. Second biggest in our tournament history. So last year or yesterday, 375 pounds, biggest one of the tournament. Right now, the only qualifying fish of the tournament. We're hoping it usually takes a 500-pound fish plus to be here tomorrow, and we're going to see a 500-pound fish tomorrow.
What do you think about these new regulations, but more than this, about the catch and release thing?
Now, the catch and release is something that the entire recreational community rallied around years ago. It took a little bit longer in remote parts. This port here has done a great job outside of just the tournaments. I mean, I will give all of these local fleets a ton of credit. They all know how to release fish. They're all excellent circle hook fishermen, which the circle hooks are the ones that are conservation oriented. They always hook here. Never do they go inside a fish. And these guys have learned how to use them. They're promoting them, and they're doing it consistently. So in the tournament, of course, that's what we incorporate. Outside the tournament, they're doing it now, day in, day out, every day of the year.